Alright, what is up, everybody? Mr. Jantix here for a second solo episode of the Standout Media podcast. Now, it's only been a week, but there has been quite a lot of news this week, surprisingly. There was Fallout Day for the first time ever yesterday, I believe. Yeah. And Call of Duty Black Ops 6 comes out tonight as of the live recording, or today if you're watching this tomorrow. Time is weird. But if you're listening on podcast services, Call of Duty is already going to be out. And there were some other interesting tidbits, so let's jump right in. First up, let's just talk Call of Duty. Black Ops 6, it comes out tonight for those listening live, and for those watching, later on podcast services, it will already be out. Oh no. Did something happen with my stream? Okay, no, it's working. For some reason on my end, it said the stream went down, but things are good. If you're watching today live, then things are different than if you're not watching today live. It's weird. Time is weird. It's time's a flat circle, as they say. Anyway, back to the show, now that everything's up and running again. Call of Duty 6. Call of Duty Black Ops 6. For those who don't know, it's free on Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass. And otherwise you're gonna have to spend $70 to buy it. It is a return to the Black Ops franchise, which has been a few years of that. And there's not much else to go over. I do have some interesting, I don't know if I would say interesting, but some accessibility features that they are showing. They have in that game. Man, it's every start of the episode I'm always off, but we'll get through it. So, Black Ops 6 is added in an arachnophobia mode, high contrast vision, asymmetrical hearing compensation settings, and a bunch of other stuff. So all around, it's always good to see lots of accessibility settings. Call of Duty in general usually has a pretty big slate for accessibility. High contrast mode, that's on just about everything nowadays. It is very interesting. I obviously don't need it. Not obviously, but I don't need it. But you can now, customize the color outlines of allies and enemies alike. So, it helps contrast those things. They're also going to have a dark background setting, which honestly I might use, because sometimes when those flashes of light go on, it's a little crazy. Also, I know in the previous Call of Duty, so it's probably going to be in this one as well, they have a thing where flashbangs, instead of flashing the screen white, will flash it black. So if you play at nighttime or in the dark, it's not so blinding and so crazy. It just flashes the screen black, and it's much easier to, not be blinded even when the flashbang goes away. Let's see. They have the asymmetrical hearing compensation. It allows players with asymmetrical hearing loss to create a custom audio profile with unique settings for each ear. Very interesting there. You can also reduce the tinnitus sound and adjust the audio from concussion and flash grenades. Let's see what else. The Omni movement, which they're adding in for this game. They're adding in a thing called intelligent movement. It's a new series of settings that allows players to customize 4 elements of operator movement. That includes a sprint assist, a mantle assist, a crouch assist, and a corner slice. So with these new settings, you can reduce required inputs. Let's see. You can also, for the first time in franchise history, customize the game's HUD settings. So you can customize where things are on your screen. You can also customize your HUD with color adjustment options, reduce visual clutter, and improve the visibility of important elements. They have arachnophobia mode because the zombies, some of them kind of look like spiders, and essentially all it does is remove their legs and it just makes them floating bodies, which oddly looks kind of creepy. Also, if you're in zombies and you're playing solo, you can now pause and save. So you can load into a previous game and you can do that. It has full support for the let me restart that. It has full support for the Xbox Adaptive Controller and the Sony Access Controller. So if you use those devices, you're going to be able to use those day one on Call of Duty Black Ops 6. And yeah, those are the a few of the accessibility settings. For sure, dive in and check out more. And let me know down below if they're actually good or not, because I don't need accessibility settings, so I don't know if those are good or not. So yeah, I'm super curious to know from, other people's perspectives on that. Let's see, moving on to the next story. Yesterday, the developers behind Helldivers 2 kind of came out and said that they're open to bringing the game to Xbox, which was kind of big news because, it's a PlayStation exclusive. It is on PC as well, but it is, I believe, a PlayStation Studios game. So Arrowhead's the developer behind it, but PlayStation, I think, is a publisher. But Arrowhead, the developer, said that they're open to bring it to Xbox. And, their exact quote, if I can find it, I can't actually find their quote, but essentially they said that it's between PlayStation and Phil Spencer to duke it out. And the community manager explained that if both partners think it would benefit them from a financial brand standpoint, that they'd see no reason why it would not come to Xbox. I have heard rumors recently that they're in early talks to bring it to Xbox, but those are just rumors right now. There's nothing official. But more voices now coming from the studio who made the game talking about it coming to Xbox. So I definitely think there's some smoke there, and that eventually there'll be a fire, which is it coming to Xbox. So we shall see in the long run how that works out. Moving right along, Fallout 76. So there was actually, let me talk about the Fallout TV show for a second. This actually wasn't part of the Fallout Day yesterday on the 23rd, but actress Leslie Uggams, which I believe is the lead actress in the Fallout TV show, stated in an interview that the second season is scheduled to start filming in November, so right around the corner. She plays Betty Pearson. So, okay. Betty Pearson was the lady, one of the main characters, but not the main character. She's the one who became the overseer for a little bit. Spoilers. Sorry about that. She, that actress came out, and she said that her character's got some things up her sleeve for the second season. So, sounds like they're moving right along. Current guesses is that 2026 is when the next season will release, but no confirmation yet. Just that filming's gonna start. I was right. Filming will start next season. Gosh, I am all over. Filming will start next month in November for season 2. All right. Now, Fallout Day was October 23rd. The first time in Fallout, actually in Bethesda history, that there has been a Fallout Day, which is, first ever Fallout Day to commemorate all things Fallout. Now they chose October 23rd because in universe, that is the day that the bombs fell. So it has some significance in universe, and they decided to celebrate on that day in real life too. So pretty much everything that went on during that was centered around Fallout 76. There is no big announcements for anything else, but if you're a fan of 76, there were some pretty good announcements coming out. They talked a lot about the new raid, which is a 4-player experience that they're adding into the game. I believe it's the first raid in the game. They went kind of in depth about each part of the raid, like what the bosses are in each area. They showed the final boss, talked a little bit about that. It's essentially a giant snake. It's the easiest way to describe what that is. And it's called the Ultrasite Terror. And yeah, it was pretty interesting. They did talk about the ghoul that you could be. So it's not a new class per se, but it's something that you can make your character turn into in the game. So once you hit a certain level and do some certain requirements. Sorry about that. Something just hit the door. Interesting. Jumping right back into it. Sorry. Yes. Okay, ghouls. I totally blanked out. But ghouls, you will have to do a certain level count, I believe. I'm actually not sure about the level. But there are challenges and stuff you have to do. Once you do those, you turn into a ghoul. And there's some little bit of differences there, like you don't have to eat or drink, but you do have to keep a lookout on a feral gauge to make sure that you're not going feral. Interesting there. That I'm sure will have some interesting consequences on gameplay. And then they did confirm that because it is your main character turning into a ghoul, it's not something you choose from the get-go, that you do have the option to turn back into a smooth skin, which is essentially a non-ghoul character. So not a permanent choice, but could be interesting there. And then at the very end of the broadcast, they teased fishing coming into the game, which big news for those who it's big news for, and for other people, they probably don't care at all. But yeah, fishing is going to be coming to Fallout. They said it's the next thing that they're going to be working on after the ghoul and after the raid. So probably not going to see that until maybe middle of 2025, because playable ghouls is early 2025, and that raid I believe is coming up at the end of this year. So some cool stuff coming up in Fallout 76. And moving right along, some sad news. Netflix closed a studio, so kind of sad news because anytime a studio closes, it's sad. They didn't close all their studios. I saw some people saying that they were getting out of gaming completely. That's not true. They're just closing one AAA game studio that they had, which was Team Blue, which was the studio that had veteran developers from Halo, God of War, and other various studios. So it was their biggest studio probably. And yeah, that's closed now. Didn't have any games come out. It was kind of just in early stages for a bunch of different things. So they did have Halo director Joseph Staten, who a lot of people do like and think that he is good. And also had God of War art director Raphael Grassetti. So, I mean, you have the Halo director, God of War art director. So that could have been interesting, but alas, no more. They are still keeping other multiple game studio development teams alive, including Oxenfree developer and Night School. And those studios are not on the chopping block. So we'll see if in the future they change their mind and do decide to get more out of gaming, or if they decide to just kind of keep a more AA / indie style of game going. Moving right along, more studio closures, which is, I mean, it's always sucks to hear about it. But Ubisoft decided to break up the Prince of Persia development team. Even though that game got some of the highest rated scores this year, a lot of people considered that to be one of the game of the year, and it might even show up in the game of the year talks at the Game Awards with Jeff Keighley, just over a month away. So it's really sad to see like a game that very clearly had a lot of passion put into it, and that very clearly had, you know, a big following behind it. They say that it didn't hit the financial targets that they wanted, even though it hit all the other targets. So I mean, money is what talks in the industry. So super sad. We're not going to be seeing any sequels as of now. The team behind Prince of Persia was trying to get a sequel greenlit, but were unable to get anything off the ground due to Ubisoft wanting to close the studio. They did get, I believe, at least one DLC out for Prince of Persia, so there is some extra content after, or you know, they did release some extra content after game release. It's I mean, honestly, I was actually really sad about this. That game, I haven't had a chance to play it yet. I've been pretty busy. But I mean, it's something that I really wanted to get to before the year ends. Ubisoft did release a statement that the game's developers have shifted to other projects that will benefit from their expertise. So essentially saying that the developers that moved have expertise and will be able to help other games. Reading through here. They did just recently launch the game on Steam, and it's coming to Mac by this winter. They did say that most of the team members who worked on Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown have shifted to other projects, so they weren't let go. And then they said that we know players have a love for this brand, and Ubisoft is excited to bring more Prince of Persia experiences in the future. So very interesting to see what comes of this in the future. There is a positive in that most of the developers were not let go. So I mean, some bright news on the back of that sad news of the studio closure. And then this other article that I'm reading through talked about where some of those team members went. So most of the team members are now working on Beyond Good and Evil 2, with a dozen developers contributing to the next Ghost Recon game, and another dozen moving over to Ubisoft Milan, who's working on a Rayman remake. For Rayman, that's going to be the first mainline game in that platformer series since 2013. Reports say that it is unpopular internally, as well as Beyond Good and Evil 2. They're saying that that is not a popular game internally. There apparently is some issues with both those games, but maybe with this influx of more developers, it will be better overall. Excuse me 1 second as I take a drink. My throat is feeling extra scratchy. All right, moving along. Minecraft news came out. There is officially a PlayStation 5 version, and Bedrock Edition has hardcore mode. It is an update called Minecraft Bundles of Bravery. It is a very small update. But I think that was actually a play on words because reading through this, it's an update on inventory management. So you now have the ability to manage your inventory a lot better. You can now you can now get bundles which take up one inventory slot, but you can open those bundles and they have multiple inventory slots inside of them. So you can greatly expand your inventory. And now, like I said, it runs natively on PlayStation 5, so there is now a PlayStation 5 version, so you can get the improved performance of that current gen console, and you're not stuck playing the PS4 version. So not crazy stuff, but you know, a couple things there. If you're playing on Minecraft, moving on. Let's go over here. State of Decay 2 came out 6 years ago, and they just released their last update for that game. And with that, they unlocked all in-game content for all players, and they are now fully focused on making State of Decay 3. So if you're a fan of the series, you might have to go a little bit now without new content, but they are working full force on State of Decay 3. So hopefully they can get that game out, get it polished, get everything working and great, and have that game out quickly. Is there an actual release date? No, it doesn't even have a release window. So maybe now with the whole team working on it, they can see how quickly they're going to work through everything and give us a release date. Also, like I said, with that all in-game content unlocked, that includes the time-limited and exclusive event content that is now available for all players. So if you miss some stuff, you can now go in and collect that all. Moving on, Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred. I know a lot of people have been playing that and enjoying that. Came out on October 8th. And they were talking a little bit, or at least it came out today. Gosh, I can't tell time. 13 hours ago was this article. And they said that they talked to the developers earlier in the month for the Vessel of Hatred and didn't release this right away, but now, you know, this article's coming out, and essentially, spoilers are ahead. I'll try to keep it spoiler light, but the expansion centers around Mephisto, the primeval, which is Lilith's dad. Trying to think of how to keep it as spoiler free as possible. Essentially, the expansion goes through Mephisto's story, but it has a kind of a cliffhanger ending for some things. And they said that they are excited to keep continuing the story, and they have many ideas for expansions in the future, and that the final boss, who I won't say who it is, but that final boss is going to potentially be a new tormented boss that you can play. So some interesting changes there. I tried to keep that as spoiler free as possible. Sorry if that spoils anything for you. One key thing that I will say is that I think this expansion is overpriced. I think I've mentioned that before. I think $40 for what it was is just a little too much. I think $20 is perfect for what this is. Maybe even $30. I feel like $30 isn't too bad. I don't think the story is worth that much. As good as it is very short. There is a lot of other stuff that they include in the expansion, but it's hard to tell where the expansion ends and where the season begins because I have both. Obviously, the season is free to all players. Expansion's not. The new class is super fun, but again, is that worth $40 for that with the story? I don't know. There's a new area. It's more Diablo. It's interesting to say the least. $40 might be too high of a price. With Game Pass, you do get a discount, so I think it's $36. Makes it a little bit more bearable. If you don't already have it and you don't feel like you have to have it right now, definitely wait for a sale. I would say do pick it up. If you see it at $20, definitely pick it up. It's definitely worth that. 30 maybe. But yeah, Vessel of Hatred, it's fun. I haven't been able to play it this week, but I do really want to jump back in and keep playing it. So yeah, definitely gets my endorsement for a good game. If you liked Base Diablo 4, you're gonna like this. And moving on, I have 2 more things. So I guess today's episode is gonna be a little bit short. Keeping on keeping on the Diablo train, they are going to have a Halloween event, and it's a little bit late in the month, which I thought was an interesting choice. It's going to be October 29th to November 5th. So, starting October 29th, it's going to be the Meet or Treat event. Yeah, very interesting. They're going to have 4 free cosmetics that are going to be on the shop starting on the 29th. So first cosmetic's going to drop 29th, second's on the 30th, third on the 31st, fourth on the 1st, and then you have until the 5th to claim any and all of those cosmetics. Day 1's going to be a mount, day 2 is a mount trophy, day 3 is a mount trophy, and then day 4 is a mount armor. So, all based around the mount. They are also adding in, so when you enter a dungeon, a shrine has a chance to be red, essentially bloody. When that happens, interacting with it will set off a meet or treat event inside of the regular event. When this happens, the shrine will apply a surprise effect, which could be a welcome or perhaps a regretful buff or attribute, or they actually don't really say what it is. So it may not even be effects. It could be something crazy like, you can get more loot, but you can't pick up the loot, or, I don't think that's going to happen. But I mean, it's the Diablo devs. They've done crazy stuff. But yeah, they've literally released no info on what those effects could be. They just announced that it's going to happen. If you go online to Vases of Hatred, so VASESOFHATRED.com, so like a flower vase, you can, if you live in LA or New York, you can send actual live poisonous flowers to somebody of your choosing. Otherwise, if you live in the rest of the... actually, is it US only? I believe it's only for US residents. Oh man, that's kind of sad. So if you're outside of the US, try it. But you may not be able to do it. But if you go to that website, you can send people essentially digital cards. So like little greeting cards. And they're pretty funny. I sent 2 earlier today. And if you send one, you can click on a button and essentially you get a free mount. So it's called the Little Lady Mount. It's a bundle. Includes a horse mount and a little horse trophy. So yeah, definitely check that out. You have until November 4th, so that runs till November 4th, but the event runs till November 5th. So you have a little bit of time. Vases of Hatred, that starts today, but the Meet or Treat event doesn't start until the 29th. So definitely, if you're a fan of Diablo, check those out, and happy hunting out there. Then for the last news story, something small. There was a new Xbox wireless headset. It's a little refresh. So that's the headset I use on my Xbox. I really enjoy it. And the refresh is something that now supports Bluetooth 5.3 as well as Dolby Atmos. Promises up to 20 hours of battery life, and it's $10 more. So it's a little bit more pricey, which is, a little unfortunate they couldn't keep it the same price. But it's not a bad headset for that price. Some people would say it may or may not be actually worth it, but I personally do enjoy the headset. Now has a refresh. It is $10 more. Is that worth it? A little bit better sounding, a little bit more battery life. Yeah, it's probably worth it. So if you want to check it out, the official Xbox channel does have a little video on it, as well as Windows Central. They tested it out, and they have some pros and cons listed. So go check it out if you're looking for a headset that works really well with Xbox. And also another thing they added was an improved microphone. So yeah, go check that out. And yeah, hope everybody enjoyed this episode of the Standout Media Podcast. A little bit shorter this week. I guess I didn't ramble on as much as I thought I would. I know last week I definitely did. Go check out that episode. It was my first time doing a solo episode. And yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. I appreciate all the support that we've been getting. I know Rizoku does too. He should be back next week. I know it's been a little bit hectic. The whole hurricane has been a little bit crazy. 2 of them hit us back to back. So it's a little bit crazy. Yeah, we'll be back next week for sure. Whether it be another solo episode or he will join me. I believe he said that he is good to join. So yeah, come back next week and see what all happens. It is Halloween next week, so that will be fun. Happy Black Ops launch day. Go out there. You probably see me out in the universe if you're playing. I will be playing quite a bit this weekend. I do have some stuff going on, but I'll probably be spending all my waking time that isn't with my kid or my wife or at the prior arranged stuff. It'll be on Call of Duty. So, yeah, good luck out there. Happy prestiging out there. Good luck in zombies and campaign. And, yeah, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast services. Give us a rating on the podcast services if you're listening later. Let us know how you feel about the video version. I know this is the second week of you seeing my beautiful face, my beautiful shaved face. I shaved it earlier today, so yeah, a little clean, not clean shaven, but a little 5 o'clock shadow going on. Now I'm rambling. Thank you for tuning in. We love you. We will see you in the next episode. And happy gaming out there. Peace.